I want to share an incident with you all. So, in my lectureship days, I remember I had a class in the morning, and my students were there, and I was teaching the class, and I was very excited to teach that particular topic. So, I saw students writing assignments in below, like hiding, and they were hiding it and writing the assignments. And I got so frustrated, I got so irritated because I thought, like, I'm putting so much of energy and they are just not responding to it. And the moment I was going to tell them that I'll leave the class if I see this, but the Holy Spirit inspired me and convicted me that just 2 years back, I was a student and I had a similar situation where there were so many assignments that even I must have done it once or twice. So when I got to know this, I just said that if I see anybody doing assignments now, I will just take your assignments. And in my mind, I was thinking I will give it back after the lecture. And I don't know why the words started coming out of my mouth that I will give you back after the lecture. And when they all started laughing, and even I started laughing. So just to tell you all that how we get frustrated when things don't go our way. So you remember that times when you had to wait for some of your friends and they did not turn on time, and we all have this experience. We get irritated, frustrated because our precious time is going. And also there are times when we are working on a project and we have a colleague or a friend who is very slow, and you are a perfectionist. So when you are a perfectionist, you exactly know that it's very difficult to manage with people who are messy and who are not up to the mark. So at such times, what is that virtue which the Lord demands from us? And it's none other than meekness. Yes, meekness means slow to anger and gentle with others. In short, it means this, that we have to be slow to anger and we have to bear such wrongs patiently. We have to bear certain things, and it is a spiritual work of mercy. If you see, it's written that bearing wrongs patiently is a spiritual work of mercy. So it's a very good act when someone is not matching your expectations and you are just being patient with that person. It is something which the Lord is expecting from you and me. I know it's difficult, but the Lord helps us. So I was reading this book from Apostolic Exhortation on the call to holiness in today's world by Pope Francis, and I liked certain lines which I'm going to share with you all. It is written there, if we are constantly upset and impatient with others, we will end up being drained and weary. But if we regard the faults and limitations of others with tenderness and meekness, without an air of superiority, we can actually help them and stop wasting our energy on useless complaining. Further, it says that Saint Teresa says that perfect charity consists in putting up with others' mistakes and not being scandalized by their faults. So it's very nice that Pope Francis is also telling us that we have to be tender and merciful with the ones who are in error. So we also see in Matthew 11:29 where Jesus tells us, learn from me, for I am gentle and humble of heart, and you will find rest for your souls. So the Lord is very humble. He is meek. And the other person in the Bible who is very humble and meek is Moses, because it's written about him in the book of Numbers that he was the meekest person on the face of the earth, that the Lord was telling about him. And this is also there in Psalm 37:11. We see, but the meek shall inherit the land and delight themselves in abundant prosperity. So here we also see in Matthew chapter 5 verse 5, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the land, inherit the earth. So here we see that blessed are the ones who are meek. That is what the Lord is telling. But meekness is not seen as a sign of strength, but it is seen as a sign of, weakness. People look at you as you're a fool, you're an idiot. If you're a meek person, that how are you not reacting? Why are you not complaining? Why are you not shouting, yelling? So there are times, friends, where we need to correct someone. And that is also the Saint Paul tells us in Galatians chapter 6 verse 1 that if you are correcting someone, correct them with meekness. It's a fruit of the Holy Spirit. And we also see that when we are sharing about our faith, we have to do it with meekness. That's again there in one of the scriptures. There is there that we have to treat our enemies with meekness. And meekness is not so popular in today's world, because in the Old Testament, meekness was considered as for the anavim, the poor people, the widows, the children, and all those who are dependent on God, because they are totally relying on God. They are trusting on God. They were also meek people. So many a times we want to have control over situation, dominate people, dominate circumstances, and we want to make everything perfect and correct. But the Lord tells a meek person is more dependent on God. He relies more on God's strength rather than his strength. Uh, he relies on God to redeem him rather than man to redeem him. So that is how meekness is, and I want to help you with few tips of how to be meek, which the Holy Spirit taught me. So I remember that when I used to wait for someone and I used to be very impatient, that is the time the Holy Spirit used to remind me that you have not done your rosary. So it's a good time that the Lord wants you to do a rosary now. So I used to take a rosary and used to do a rosary. If there is a Blessed Sacrament nearby, I used to visit the Blessed Sacrament and used to feel that, wow, I'm spending my time for something good. So we can do that with being patient. Also, I remember that there are instances when I want to make a video and there is someone in the house, some guest used to come. Now I need to prepare everything. I need to prepare the script, be in prayers and all. But I don't, but things start get, when your plans are upset, you start getting frustrated and irritated and sometimes very angry also. But the Lord just the Holy Spirit convicted me that the person who is visiting you is also carrying the presence of God. And if you treat that person with gentleness and meekness, the Lord is in your side and he will do the work in few seconds, and you will not, in less time you can still do the work. So that is how the Holy Spirit is teaching me how to be meek and humble. Yes, I struggle and I'm working with the Spirit, but I will encourage you, if you find someone who are very frustrating, who are giving you a lot of anger, sometimes you'll not express that anger, but inside you it's eating you up. It's getting like you get very very angry. So the Lord is telling you that be patient with others and their errors and everything, and if you do this, you will be very peaceful. Actually, you will know that experience what it means to be meek, because Jesus himself was coming on a donkey in Jerusalem. He is a King of Kings, but he always chooses the humble path, the meek path. And if you are meek, you will inherit the land, inherit the earth. Means the Lord will bless you with prosperity, as written in Psalms 37:11. That if this is there, if people think also you are mad, you're stupid, it's okay, because after all, when you please the Lord, you know that you will inherit a lot of blessings. That's what I want to share. If you have liked this video, do like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye bye.